India is one of the largest producer of these food grains. Still, a lot of our food grains go waste, or it does not reach the processing plants because the bigger processing plants which are say in the cities.
It's also about empowering the farmers, working a little more closely with them to actually not only educate them but support them in terms of a better product, and making them confident that the better product has a better market.
As many business firms shut their operations during the lockdown, Rohit Puglia's Munchlicious factory was working in full swing. And on the contrary, processing and packaging more granola boxing owing to a rise of about 60% in demand. Similarly, Zapfresh, India's leading packaged meat store, witnessed a rise in its ready-to-eat and ready-to-cook food category. The rise in consumption could be seen due to a considerable shift in buying pattern of consumers from basic necessities to stockpiling items like processed snack, packaged meat, and frozen desserts. In wake of this, not only did the demand of packaged food increase in India, but globally too, as the sector witnessed a hike of about 27% in overall food exports since March.
Because of the COVID, it has come in limelight a little bit. We are talking about a $35 billion size of the market in India. We've seen a 100% increase pre-COVID and post-COVID. We are sitting right in the pool of opportunity when it comes to India as a market. A lot of players in the food processing category have looked at exports, and they are doing that part. So I think there is anyways a lot being done to export. That is slightly mature market than the young market. So our focus is to capitalize on the India story.
Retailers too claim the witnessing double-digit spike in frozen food item category, especially owing to the fear of hygiene. From buying frozen momos to tomato purees to instant dal makhni in minutes, the youth of India, which is habitual to eating out or having prepared food, move towards the packaged food categories.
Because of the closure or the lockdown, the restaurants were not functioning. People who are say nuclear, who live in a nuclear family, or when husband and wife both are working, they normally used to either eat out or either ordered from a restaurant, or there would be some maids coming in to cook it for them. But because of this lockdown scenario, these things were not available, and that is the reason why we saw a huge surge in the packaged food industry. If you see, there were some studies done in US where it showed that packaged food grew by between 25 to 85% week on week. And even in India, packaged food has been growing in the range of 30 to 60% during the pandemic time.
The Invest India platform claims that the food processing market will turn to become one of the largest sectors across the world, with an output that is expected to reach about $535 billion by 2025-26. Also, with 100% FDI in the food sector, India alone has attracted $4.18 billion in foreign direct investments since the April 2014.
The agriculture sector is a very low-hanging fruit at this juncture, because we have very good strength in the agriculture sector, and we are posting new highs every year in the food grain production. And there is no need to import inputs for this sector, and we have a lot of opportunities for the food processing. And there is a lot of demand in the international market for the food products. There are more than $1,300 billion imports of the agri and food products worldwide, but our participation at this juncture is somewhere between $30 to $40 billion. So we have potential to become $100 billion export market in the next 2-3 years and save a a 200 billion market in the next 5-6 years. So this is a very promising segment that has to be focused, and this can become the next IT sector of India and can provide a lot of employment opportunities for the growing young population, especially in the rural areas.
Being an agrarian society, India is the largest producers of milk, tea, wheat, mangoes, pulses and sugarcane. So India's strength is in turn in its agriculture sector, while India processes less than 10% of its agricultural output. So as a result, the government saw opportunity and launched the PM Micro Food Processing Enterprise Scheme to provide financial, technical and business support to upgrade the existing micro food processing units, as the food processing sector of India constitutes 25 lakh unorganized units, which contribute 74% of its employment. Furthermore, One District, One Product scheme is also likely to give a helping hand to these unorganized units lift up.
We are producing a lot of food, but we are not processing it well. We lack infrastructure, we lack standardization, we lack technical know-how. We don't have quality standards which are a prerequisite for exporting any food items to say UK or US or the European Union countries. How I would put it is, if India has to reach this 5 trillion economy our Prime Minister is focusing on, if we have that vision, if we want to reach that stage, we really have to uplift our marginal farmers. We have to make them more organized. We have to train them in or provide technical know-how, and we have to improve our infrastructure. And I really appreciate the scheme by the government. However, we have seen that there are a lot of policies or frameworks made in India. The implementation becomes a challenge.
So suppose a farmer has 5 acres of land and he grows lemon, but he is unaware of the demand of the byproducts of lemon. So what would he do with his produce? Which market will he target? What products such as lemonade, lime juice or dehydration of lemons he will cater to for maximum profit? He does not know. Therefore, the experts believe that the implementation of schemes is critical at the grassroots level, as nearly 66% of the units are in the rural regions.
When you talk about fresh food, it might have a shelf life of say few days. You can increase it by few weeks if you store it well. But once you process it, this is going to be only possible when we have the technical know-how, when we have the required infrastructure. The another problem with these marginal farmers is that they do not function as a formalized unit. There are problems of say getting a credit line. Even though government gives them credit, they don't know how to process and increase the shelf life of their produce. They tend to get in the vicious cycle of the credit, that they are not able to pay off the credit. But if that is also supported by this providing these infrastructures, or by making them follow the quality standards. So say in India, although FSSAI has given guidelines for quality assurance and quality control, but still it is not up to the mark of say what FSSC standards or say BRC standards are. And if we want to export to these countries, we really have to increase our food standard or our quality and hygiene standards. And then and only then we would be in a position to probably reach out to these markets, export our food products, and probably reach that $5 trillion economy mark.
So with the rapid change in the consumption pattern due to urbanization, changes in gender composition of the workforce, growing consumption rates, the demand for hygienic, nutritional packaged foods, eating to government schemes, and the global demand of Indian savouries, sweets and processed raw material. India being the food basket of the world, the processing food industry is likely to grow leaps and bounds.